Greetings, beautiful being. Thank you for tuning in to Movement Medicine Morsels. We're doing the short and sweet sessions, 10 minutes or less to make a shift and create some mobility, some ease, some joy. So today's focus is on our beautiful hips. So let's get started. I'd like to invite you to plant yourself in your seat. I'm going to move back a little further so you can see in case you need a little visual, but I do encourage you to go inside and discover your own beautiful way of moving and what feels good and valuable to you. So we're going to plant our feet and sense the ground. Very important, really good for stability, especially in these destabilizing times. So if we can find stability on any level, it helps us stay centered and gives us our equilibrium. At the same time, we want to feel our sit bones, and today, because we're going to be playing with the hips, very important area. So let's even rock a little bit. Feel the weight shift to one sit bone, feel how the other one gets lighter, and take your time. If you're doing this quickly, slow it down a little bit so that you really sense that rocking, because the sit bones really are like rockers of a rocking chair. So they're not just flat, they actually are curvy. And we want to sense, what is it when we shift our weight onto one sit bone and then onto the other? And maybe you even sense that this is doing something to your spine. So even though we're playing with the hips, we're also speaking to all other interconnected parts of our body. And we'll let the side to side get a little bit smaller until we feel nicely balanced. And so now we have the feet of our pelvis and the feet of our feet connecting to a stable foundation. Take a nice breath and enjoy this stability. And let's start to build some suspension. So from the stability, we're not leaving that behind, we're taking it with us. We have something that anchors us and something that helps us rise. And so we open up into our beautiful verticality, and let's just relax our shoulders. Just let them fall. Soft smile, gentle breathing. And today, since it's Happy Hip Day, let's place our hands on our low belly, or maybe you want your hands on your hips. And imagine that your hands give you a focal point so that you're breathing right down into your hips. So the hip sockets are just under the hip bones here. You can even imagine you're breathing right into those sockets. So anywhere in this area is great. Sending an inhalation in like light and oxygen and energy and connectiveness, and then exhaling, letting the breath leave that area. Inhale, filling yourself and sensing your beautiful hips and pelvis, and exhale, clearing, cleansing. And relax with this. We're setting our mood, and we've also snuck in a few hip movements already. And bringing awareness is always the first step. So let's start to add some movement. So we've done the side to side, and now we're going to do the tipping, the rocking of the pelvis. I'll turn sideways. So we want to place our hips, hands on the tops of our hips, and feel the top of the hips rocking back as we exhale and rocking forward as we inhale. I'll remove this arm. So if you need a look, we just want the top of the pelvis to rock back and forward. And this can be a very small movement. Now, you may want to feel the rocking nature of the sit bones here. We're rolling onto the back end of the sit bones, and we're rolling towards the front of the sit bones. And this is where the rocking chair, the rocking is really more obvious. The curvy nature, we're rocking under the sit bones. And it's nice to feel the weight of the sit bones. So you may really want to play with being heavy in the chair seat So you feel that feedback, but without collapsing. But of course, if your shoulders and your head and your neck want to come along, that's quite natural and quite lovely. Excellent. So we've done side to side, we've done front and back, we've also done some lightness. Let's do a hip circle here. So putting together those last movements. And start anywhere in the circle. We've done a front and a back, a side and a side, and we're going to fill in those 4 points with a circular movement. So you can roll from one sit bone to the back, to the other sit bone, and slightly tip forward if that's helpful for you. Or you can just circle, or think of your perineum painting a circle on the chair, whatever works for you. And stay nice and tall and light above the circling hips so that you have the benefit of the spaciousness that comes from suspension. And we defy gravity. Actually, I'd rather say we dance with gravity. We don't let gravity overwhelm us because that creates compression. So let's go the other way. We want to feel the lovely ground that gravity gives us, but we want to also feel the beautiful elongation and suspension that lightness gives us. So not one, not the other, but both above and below together. So just take a little bit more time circling. And if you feel like going back to the first side, or maybe you haven't done the second side, make sure you get a nice balance of both directions. And let's bring this to a close. So that's been some beautiful hip circling. And I invite you to come and stand up, and we'll do a little bit standing up if you'd like to, or you can simply continue or repeat what we did a little bit earlier. It's actually quite lovely to repeat something, because the more we do it and we slow down with it, we have a way of entering into it almost like a chant or a prayer, a body prayer. And the repetition can sometimes help us find new meaning and ease. I know we like novelty, and the nervous system enjoys novelty because it freshens things up. But there's also great value in repeating something over and over. So we're going to repeat those earlier movements standing, or you can repeat them seated, and we'll look for some new and fresh ways of doing this. So feet always connecting to the ground, and you may want to wiggle your feet a little bit because feet are also extensions of the hip. So let's just rock to the edges of the feet. So I'm on the outside edge of one foot, inside of the other, and then do the same on the other side. So we're feeling the borders of the feet, and see how the hips just naturally want to come along. And always we stay suspended so we never crunch or collapse. Let that come to a finish, and then rock a little bit towards the balls of the feet and then onto the heels. And you may find that when you come to the balls of the feet, maybe the hips want to extend forwards, and onto the heels, the hips want to go back. Doesn't have to be that way, but since these are short and sweet sessions, I also like the idea of efficiency and layering a few things together if that's nice for you. Otherwise, just stay with the feet and just let the hips do their thing. So now we've done the same thing in the feet as we did in the chair. We've done side to side, we've done forward and back. So now let's do the same thing where we take a circle. So maybe you want to have your hands on your hips, remind yourself to be tall, remember to breathe, and let's go front, side, towards the heels, and the other side. So we're thinking about the feet, and we're letting the hips paint a similar circle. So we have a circle through the soles of the feet, and we have a circle through the hips. So I'll turn sideways, and so there's a front, a side, a back, and a side that's happening through the feet and irresistibly happening through the hips. And let it be free. Let it be playful. Let it flow like water. And then let this come to a close. Refresh yourself with your vertical, your connection to the sky. So there's a part of you hanging, connected high above, and another part of you grounded. And there's that exquisite dynamic interplay. And let's go the other way. So with the ground and the sky as part of your experience, it's a body that extends beyond the limits of your own body. So much fun to dance with the universe. And circling, so the feet, the hips are circling, and maybe your chest and your head are already playing. And let's let that come to a gentle finish. Just shake that out. Ooh, loosen things up, a little bit of shaking, a little bit of shimmying. Shake the hips, shake your butt, shake, shake, shake. If you have any flesh, just let it shimmy like jello. Ooh. Hop a little bit, just lifting your heels and dropping them. And then an easy rotation, easy swinging. You can keep the head facing forward and see if you can feel the shifting of the weight in your feet. Feet, remember, legs are extensions of the hips. We have two halves of our pelvis, and each pelvic half expresses itself through a long leg into the foot, and of course that's us connecting to the ground. Let your head go with the twist if you want, and allow this to come to a natural finish. And take a little walk, see how your hips feel, see how your pelvis feels, and this is basically a wrap. Take your hips for a beautiful evening or day, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Many blessings. Thanks for tuning in to Short and Sweet Movement Medicine Morsels today. Bye for now.